Hey guys, hope you had a good weekend. We're going to be carrying on today, reading the book Finding Hope Under Bethlehem Scars. We're on day 5, and we'll start off by reading Ruth 1, 11 through 14. But Naomi said, "Turn back, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Are there still sons in my womb that may be your husbands? Turn back, my daughters. Go, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, if I should have a husband tonight and should also bear sons, would you wait for them till they were grown? Would you restrain yourselves from having husbands? No, my daughters, for it grieves me very much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord has gone out against me." Then they lifted up their voices and wept, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. So, referring to the book, the chapter is called Loved Actually, and it does make reference to a movie that I haven't seen and don't plan on seeing. So let's start with, I want to know what love is. What's your pick for the greatest Christmas movie of all time? Don't judge me, but one of my favorites is Love Actually. It's mainly because the year it was released, I was preparing to leave for home for 6 months overseas. Unsurprisingly, the film's opening scene at the arrival gates of Heathrow Airport has bittersweet memories. But to the credit of the writer and director, Richard Curtis, it's a rom-com that manages to capture a fairly rich and honest portrait of human love. We see that love in its many forms and distortions: quiet devotion, consuming self-love, longing grief, besotted romance, destructive lust, and brave loyalty. We love the idea of love, especially at Christmas. In today's passage in Ruth, we begin to see a demonstration of love that Hollywood scriptwriters would die for. Grieving Naomi believes her widowed daughter-in-law should stay in their homeland, rather than accompanying her to Bethlehem. Part of her reasoning is that she's too old to have another husband. In verse 12 and 13 it says, "Even if I had a husband tonight, and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up?" This is a reference to a custom of levirate marriage, where the bereaved woman would be cared for through existing family relationships. For example, if a married man died, his brother would be expected to marry his widow. This might sound like a social nightmare to us, but it ensured both the widow was provided for and the deceased husband's land was passed on to the next generation. But Naomi knows the idea of remarrying and then giving birth to sons who in turn could marry Ruth and Orpah is fool's talk. She's simply too old for this. She believes the situation to be hopeless and therefore urges her daughters-in-law to cut their losses. In fact, look how Naomi describes God's role in the situation in verse 13. She says, "The Lord's hand has turned against me." It's commendable that Naomi believes God is in control of all things. But is the Lord really against her? Notably, Naomi makes this declaration on 2 occasions in this chapter, in verses 13 and 20. And each time it seems that God responds to Naomi's remarks. This doesn't take the form of direct speech, but is through the events and responses of other people. For example, look at what happened directly after Naomi's first remark. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. Naomi is on a journey of rediscovering the Lord's steadfast kindness, but the way that she'll discover this kindness is as she experiences it embodied in the actions of other individuals. In today's passage, it's particularly Ruth who enfleshes that covenant kindness, literally enwrapping herself around Naomi in sacrificial commitment. In Advent, we're prepared to celebrate God embodying His kindness to us in Jesus Christ. Do you need to be convinced that God is for you? If you're honest, are there things that lead you to feeling that the Lord's hand is turned against you? As you picture Ruth clinging to Naomi, let your heart be reconvinced that God will not let you go. Pray for the Lord's help as you entrust yourself to His love for you. Guys, hope you have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.